And let's move on to the gaming here. And the PlayStation Store is pretty bare bones at this point. There's only a few certain things you can select. They just have their top popular games, and so they're kind of celebrating the PS3 era for PSN. Every time you launch the PlayStation Store, it would take quite a few minutes to launch, and it has to kind of back out and close the application almost as if it was a game. It's really not that smooth, but I guess it got the job done. They originally announced they were going to close the PS3 and PS Vita stores on July 2nd, 2021, but on April 19th, 2021, they announced they will continue operations. And generally you can expect 720p 30 FPS on most titles, but there has been a lot of games that use 1080p 60 FPS, like all of these COD games here. They all run 1080p at 60 FPS. I guess this is the best of Call of Duty. This is mostly what came out for the time, but there is a couple more games here. But Assassin's Creed 3 did come with my console. It's not here currently, but I remember all these games back in the past. They were all pretty good. Pretty good. Xbox has kind of worked their magic. Even today, they can go in and make every game backwards compatible because the system was so easy to code for. They're able to make all these games backwards compatible with the newest Xboxes these days. But for PS3, it was not fun to port it. They found that it was better just to have a remaster than to make it backwards compatible. I've got quite a few of them, almost 100 titles. Mobile games on here, which is kind of funny. Crash Team Racing, Medieval, Classic, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is all PlayStation 1 classics, because you can emulate those types of games. And I can kind of say first-party titles thrived on the PS3. They really performed the best, and I felt that they were all mostly polished. All of Sony games were bangers, and I really commend them on that front. They've been all about exclusives for a very long time. Only now Xbox is trying to lead the charge with their first-party studios when they just bought them all up, right? Generally, like, you can find that Sony was kind of at the frontier with first-party titles for the longest time, and now they're kind of neck to neck now, so I've heard. The games were pretty vast this generation. Initially, the cross-platform games didn't really run well on PS3 most of the time, and over the years, they finally kind of figured out the cell architecture and to really fully utilize this system. The Xbox 360 was just way easier to code for because it was almost like a PC in that regard. But the last few years, games have really held up, and sometimes it's actually performed better on the PS3. For example, the Grand Theft Auto 5 that came out in 2013 ran really well on PS3. And you still need to install a large chunk of the game data on the actual hard drive. It's not a big issue, and you can just delete a few things. And funny enough, you can actually play up to 7 players on the system. I've tried to collect most local co-op games. Even this one, you can have up to 4 players, and it's one of my favorites. Blur is an amazing game here. I've played most of them, and they run extremely well, and even split screen runs pretty decently. And yeah, I bought a lot of disc games over the time, and I still have them, and they kind of outweigh my PS4 collection, and my Xbox collection is kind of close to that, my Xbox 360 collection, but generally it's just gone more digital. The sales on the PSN Store these days are really good, so I'm more and more tempted to just get the digital downloads and then just download on the hard drive and just have it there. I've really found like that's really not an issue. I think I'll always buy the disc version, but generally like I'll still buy a digital download if it's really cheap. Like, I really think local co-op is the best feature for consoles, and there's nothing better than getting all of your best buds together to fight it out on the couch, in my opinion. I've had so many good memories with the PS3. I've really taken to so many of my friends' houses, and whenever we wanted a good time, we just brought over the PS3, and I'd play with all my friends, and I was the only person with the console. Where I only have a few friends that do play online, local co-op is kind of where I seek that type of gaming out. The occasional single player, like The Last of Us 2 currently, where I'm still playing through that. Last of Us 1, I might go back and play that on PS4 Pro, the remastered version. And I am playing on the DualShock 4 on all the games that I'm playing today. Let's start off with Blur, and let's just hop onto PlayStation Network and see if there's anyone online. And funny enough, we're actually able to play an online match in Blur, which is one of my favorite games. Let's go to my all-time classic. One of my most favorite games of all time. It's quite a mouthful, can you guess it? It's Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket-Powered Battle Cars. So let's launch into that game. Maybe here you can have 4-player split screen, which is so much fun. Let's try out another title here. One of my favorites, a local co-op game called S.A.R.B.C. Let's try out one more game, and it's a good one. You can kind of see how long these games take to load on a hard drive. Even the PS4 Pro takes a little while there too. They had some really slow RPM hard drives in these bad boys. It still works brilliantly, and it always loads up. You can really tell like so much of the PS3 is a little bit of loading here and there, but if you don't mind loading and you just want to get into a game, no matter how long it takes, it's worth it in the end.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, that kind of concludes the gaming side of it and what you can kind of do with the PlayStation. Alright, signing out. So there we go. That's a look at the PS3, and I think I'll start playing it more and check it out. Play some old games and see how it goes. I've already been recording for an hour, so I should probably pack it up. And it's really late. It's after dark, or after morning, some would say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.